This is the tale of a young business that expanded into a behemoth after placing a bold wager on electric cars, EVs. No, it is not Tesla. Due to the small number of automobiles they sell in Australia, you may not be familiar with this brand. However, many predict that it will eventually control the whole vehicle market. The business is the Chinese automaker BYD, which surpassed Tesla to become the biggest EV manufacturer in the world lately. It's rushing to spread over the world after taking over China. According to experts, BYD and other Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers herald a new age in transportation comparable to the Ford Model T of the 1900s and the rise of Japanese manufacturing in the 1970s. Its ascent has been rapid. 20 years prior, BYD had not produced a single vehicle. And 10 years before to that, it was a startup producing mobile phone batteries in a plain Shenzhen facility. According to Bill Russo, CEO of Automobility, a China-based financial advisory organization, the BYD story is a 20-year-old story. And no one took it seriously until the last 12 to 24 months when they started to outsell Tesla. They will require a larger battery. When colleagues from Daimler Chrysler, now Mercedes-Benz, returned on a scouting trip to China in 2003, Mr. Russo was employed there in the US. They related a ridiculous tale about a little-known business named BYD. Wan Chuanfu, the company's founder, believed electric vehicles had a bright future. Mr. Russo, who currently resides in Shanghai, says he had this notion of, we're going to be a car company, we're going to be an EV company. A lot of people at our company thought that was overly ambitious, to put it mildly. 8 years prior, in 1995, Mr. Wang had quit his position as a government researcher and had borrowed 2.5 million yuan, about $960,000 in today's currency, from a relative to establish a mobile phone battery plant. The name of the business he started, BYD, stands for Build Your Dreams. It supplied Motorola, Ericsson, and Nokia as the second largest global manufacturer of rechargeable batteries by the early 2000s. However, according to Mr. Russo, BYD saw a bigger possibility. At first, the idea was to say, hey, I produce batteries for little stuff. I could sell more batteries if I made batteries for larger applications. Traditional automakers either missed or chose to ignore what BYD noticed. Affordable EVs became possible due to advancements in lithium-ion battery costs and energy density. That was the plan, anyway. The challenges of producing inexpensive EVs were immense. In order to build a brand and test manufacturing processes, BYD first had to learn how to construct cars that operated on gasoline. Next, it had to overcome the technical difficulties involved in powering an automobile only through battery operation as opposed to internal combustion. It also needed to lower the exorbitant price of lithium-ion batteries at the time. And it had to take this action ahead of its bigger and more seasoned competitors. Still, Mr. Wang exuded confidence. In 2008, the CEO predicted that BYD would overtake all other automakers in the world by 2025. He claimed that the auto industry has a blank canvas with EVs. The future was in the balance. We're talking new cars and everyone is starting from the same point. The difficult road ahead to produce an EV for the general public. The creator of Sino Auto Insights, Tu Lei, remembers seeing a BYD vehicle for the first time in 2009. The vehicles in the early days were complete trash, according to him. The doors were paper thin and it would disintegrate if hit by any large vehicle. He didn't believe the business would succeed. However, several others didn't agree, and one of them was quite wealthy. During the 2008 global financial crisis, a 10% interest in BYD was acquired by Warren Buffett's investment firm. With a ballpoint pen tucked in his short-sleeved shirt pocket, Mr. Wang was dubbed a Chinese Bill Gates by Western media. Mr. Buffett is clearly betting that you will be the geek who launches the next revolution in automotive technology, a reporter wrote. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, was questioned a few years later about BYD's prospective rivalry in the EV market. He gave a disbelieving response. "Have you seen their car?" he asked, grinning in response. But Mr. Buffett's $230 million investment grew to $6 billion over the following 13 years, representing a return of around 3,000%. With the aid of substantial government funding for battery production, BYD aimed to get EVs down to the same price as internal combustion vehicles. Not even the industry pioneer Tesla had accomplished this. Effectively, BYD was attempting to usurp the dominance of internal combustion engines. The backbone technology of the automotive industry had not been altered since the mid-1880s, argues Russo. That's a pretty big moat that's kept away any technological disruption. Chinese EV sales are surging. Being the only significant automaker to create battery cells from the ground up gave BYD a significant competitive edge. An electric vehicle's entire cost may include up to 40% of its batteries, and producing them internally was far less expensive. Conversely, Tesla purchased its battery cells from Panasonic and put them together to create battery packs. Since then, it has secured additional suppliers such as BYD and has also ventured into the production of cells. In terms of economics, BYD adopted a vertical integration strategy which entails owning each level of the supply chain. Because of its extreme vertical integration, BYD held stock in the South American lithium mines that provided its battery mineral refineries with raw materials. Another benefit that set BYD apart from its outside competitors. China's massive government subsidies helped the country surpass the US as the world's largest EV market in 2014. China was responsible for over half of all EV sales worldwide by 2020. Because of this demand, BYD was able to expand its manufacturing and lower the cost of its automobiles. Gasoline automobiles continued to outsell electric ones in spite of this. And then COVID struck, Mr. Lei claims. And that's when you see that hockey stick graph. Sales of EVs increased due to a number of factors, including Chinese consumers choosing private automobiles over public transportation and declining EV pricing when combined with a greater model selection. Australia gained. Manufacturers of batteries and automobiles alike scrambled to lock down the world's finite supply of vital minerals. Australia supplied a large portion of the lithium used in these millions of Chinese EVs. After years of price battles, some EVs were more affordable in China in 2023 than equivalent gas vehicles after deducting an EV tax. It surpassed Volkswagen to become China's best-selling auto brand in that year. According to Mr. Russo, the accomplishment was viewed as a symbol of the development of the home auto sector and the handoff from foreign automakers. Chinese companies, and in particular BYD, have been able to solve the problem of making EVs affordable. According to independent assessments, BYD produces electric vehicles at a 25% lower cost than European automakers and at a 15% lower cost than Tesla. According to Mr. Lei, legacy automakers may not be able to compete with cheaper Chinese EVs because they were caught off guard. To cut costs, a number of people have attempted and failed to construct their own EV battery cells. But they can't build them, they don't know how. He continues. During a call with investors about Tesla's profits last month, Elon Musk mentioned BYD. Although he had made fun of BYD back in 2011, his tone had changed. If governments don't erect trade barriers, Chinese automakers will demolish their international competitors, he claimed. The Chinese car companies are the most competitive car companies in the world. BYD is growing abroad, particularly in Australia. After establishing itself in China, BYD began to grow internationally in 2022. About 12,000 cars, or 1% of the total, were sold by the company in Australia last year. Ford and the automakers from Korea and Japan continue to rule the market. Tesla sold 4 times as many as BYD. In January 2024, BYD just managed to outsell Tesla, but that was because the Tesla's transport to our shores was delayed. According to BYD, its lofty goals include being the top-selling automaker in Australia. Given the abundance of fuel-guzzling four-wheel drives and utes on our roads, this projection might sound excessively optimistic. However, as EVs become more affordable and governments encourage the purchase of EVs, change is on the way. Right now, China makes 5 of the most affordable electric vehicles in Australia. In the EV space, the only 2 players that have any manufacturing scale are Tesla and BYD, said Mr. Lei. 15 years from now, Tesla and BYD are going to be the major players. Neither Tesla nor BYD make the top 10 list of the biggest automakers in the world, but similar assertions are being made by others. Investment bank UBS announced a change of guard late last year. BYD and other leading Chinese car manufacturers are set to dominate the global automotive market with high-tech, low-cost EVs for the masses. Despite being an EV pioneer, Elon Musk is not always the one who makes money, according to Mr. Russo. The settler is the one who enters the market later and has a more advanced business plan. The internal combustion engine was not invented by Henry Ford. He's just brought it down to earth. That's what Wang Shunfu has done for the EV. Share your views with us in the comments. Also like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.